So today we'll keep working on our buy some milk to-do list. This is a part 2. If you haven't yet, please check out the part 1. If you are new here, I'm Juntao. I help people write better code. Along the way, you will see why TDD is helping us as a developer, and how they protect us from breaking the existing applications, and is more confident to make big changes and big refactors and make our code much more cleaner and maintainable. Let's get started. It's time to look into the implementation to see if there are any opportunities to optimize, to clean up. So to me, it looks like a lot of things happening here doesn't contain any React, doesn't have any view related logic. It's purely manipulating this data, and if we if we extract it out into something like a hook, and using that hook inside this component, that would be much simpler for audience, for anyone to read, right? So if we let's say if we create a hook called use to do, and inside that we will have exactly the same thing here, but we will return these new to-dos. By the way, we need to put the parameter here, which is a to-do list, and we will return the to-dos because this is the internal state. We don't want to expose this set to-dos to outside world. We only need the outside to change our data by our interface, which is these two, like on item add and the mark item as done. So essentially we have a use to do hook, and it exposes three parameters. The first one is a read-only data, and the last two are APIs to manipulate this data. But it only allows you to modify the data in two particular ways: the on item, the add, or we call it add item, and the mark item as done. Probably its better name should be, probably we need to rename it as add item, or add to do item, add to do item, and we will expose that just like that, right? So use to do will have the initial value, which is the one passed in from the outside world, and then internally it will maintain this to-dos list. So then we don't need all of this here. We only need to-dos. It's add to-do item from use to do and items passed in, and we will need the mark item as done. So we don't need all this. And for the add item, we will pass it onto the to do input. So now if we run test again, they are still passing, right? It's run one item, run the multiple items, add one item to the list, and mark item to done. They are all passing now. And let's look at the implementation now. I think it's much cleaner, and we can move this into their own file, which is use to do.ts. It's not a tsx anymore because it's purely data and the interface to modify the data, right? And it's used to do now. And the to-do is simplified as a usage of the hook and the usage of this input. Actually, I think the rendering the whole section need to be updated as well. So normally it need to be a unordered list or ordered list. Depends on whether you need the order or not. But obviously it's not happening here. So we need to put either a UL or OL, and then put this inside and give it a better name called II maybe. And we run test again. Yeah, it's still passing. That's cool. Also, I think we can extract this into a separate component as well. That way, we will only have a very simple component in the to-do, like the container object, the container component. So let's do that. We can start to copy this inside this file. Let's say maybe TodoList accepting a to-dos as a list, and a function mark item as done, right? And then we will just copy paste that snippet over. And yes, what is happening here? Because it doesn't have it doesn't have a type. Okay, it doesn't have a type, so we will put it inside here. To-dos is a to-do items array, and mark item as done is a function, and to-do item, and give it a void. Right, so now we have this to-do list component which accepting two parameters. The first one is the list need to be rendered, and the second one is the function, the callback. Whenever an item is clicked, it will call back to the caller place. So let's use this to-do list instead of this whole bunch of things here, which is all the details about what is happening inside the to-do list. So for the to-do list, the to-do will be the to-dos, and the mark it down as mark it down, and yes, it's pretty much like that. If we run the test again, they're still passing. No dramas here, and we will need to extract this out into its own file, which is the to-do list. So now in our to-do, it's kind of in a good state already. We have a to-do container which accepting items, the pure data of the item, and we have a hook called is to-do. So all the logic to manipulate that data is inside that hook, when no one got to touch that. And in the to-do, we have two components. One is the to-do input, handling all the input events over there, and the last one is the to-do list, which is rendering whatever we passed it in. So that's pretty much about the to-do. And if we look at the test now, it's pretty much reflecting what we listed here. So basically we have 4 tasks from that requirement, and then we implement each task inside a test. And once we have that, you can get rid of them very easily. And at any point, you can, when you are not sure if you are breaking something or like unsure if your changes have a bigger impact, you run the test. And once all the tests are passing, you will be much more confident than ever to do that change, to make that change. To recap, the benefit of test-driven development, or TDD, is, so firstly, we will have a much cleaner procedure to implement the application or any features, because we have 1, 2, 3, we have steps to follow. That will be the first benefit. And secondly, it's very easy to track. Like you will know exactly where you are, and you have very good defined input and output. You will be more focusing on what you're doing. If I'm working on random item items, I wouldn't worry about adding new item to the list at all. I don't need to worry about the DOM events or any kind of the interactions on the UI. It's only purely focusing on the particular area at a time. Once you have done that, you have a test to cover you, then you will be more confident to move on. And the third benefit is, if you are changing someone else's code, or it's your code, it's a code you write like 2 weeks ago, and you're not sure what the impact will be. And by running the test first, or like by running a test along the way, you will know what the impact will be, and you will be more confident to commit and push that to production. I think the ultimate benefit of test-driven development is how confident you can make big changes. Like without that, or without testing, you wouldn't be that confident to make big changes, like extracting hooks from a very complicated component. It might break the whole application in some way, but you wouldn't know. I think the ultimate benefit from test-driven development is the confidence it brings to you when you make big changes. To me, like especially for large projects, I wouldn't make any big changes if I don't know what it will impact. So with test, or like automation test along the way, I can then make drastic changes without worrying too much the impact, because I know it won't break anything, or if it is, I will know immediately by running the test. So that's with that, you can apply any like design patterns, or like a separate of concerns. You do the decomposition, any kind of techniques you would use. But with all that, I don't think I'm confident enough to do any big changes. Maybe rename a variable, but yeah, that's it. I can't do any further. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from it. That's awesome. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribe and like it. If you have any questions, or if you want to learn something else from me, please comment below. And until next time, see you.